Welcome back. My work has been very uncertain. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm doing things the right way. A lot has happened. I've gone back and watched several of my videos and noticed that I have this tendency to mention that the transom is as good as it's gonna get. It's fair, it's ready to go, it's ready to get painted. And as soon as I get ready to paint, it's like, oh, there's a pinhole, or oh, there's a nice gouge from where I got a little crazy with the a belt sander and just like dug into the fiberglass. So yeah, it was lots of going back and forth trying to fix my mess ups per se. However, I didn't video any of that because I have no idea what I'm doing, and it was a struggle enough for me to actually do it and like get stuff done, and then also videoing it to where I felt confident in what I was doing. Well, it was just non-existent, and it's still non-existent, but I feel like I just need to just keep pressing on and quit being a little, and just get the job done. So that's what has happened here. The other day, 3 days ago, I messed around with the good old ALEXSEAL primer, the 442 primer, I want to say. Finish primer 442. Watched a lot of YouTube videos, so I am an expert. Not. You can see I've got my little cheat sheet here. It's for the top coat, that's for the finish primer. I went and got some stuff from my local Napa. Excuse me, like these mixing cups. They've got ratios on the side. I don't know how accurate they are. They've got ounces here in the ratios, but the ratios don't add up to the ounces, so I don't know if I was messing that up. But the finish primer, it went on well. I was measuring out the ratios. I reduced it to 20%, I think. 15% is what I was going for, but I think it turned out to be like 20% or so, I think. So if you can see on here, you've got your 1% to 1 ratio, and this, if I'm reading this right, the finish primer 442, it's 1-to-1 ratio between the catalyst and the base, and it can be reduced or thinned up to 25%. And that's just what the Boatworks Today dude did when he was doing his inside the shop. So I was like, well, I'm outside the shop, I'm not in a shop. It was kind of cool the day that I did it. So I kind of wanted to reduce it a little more because I thought that would help it flash and cure quicker. I don't know, all you paint experts can correct me in the comments if there's any watching. But so yeah, when I was measuring out these ratios, I did the one and then I've reduced it, and then I put the other one for the catalyst and the base. What I failed to realize, that the surface that I set this cup on was not level. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to find the most level portion on this transom here. It's probably going to be there, and I'm going to mix in the reducer and the catalyst into one cup, and then the paint into another. And I'm hoping in doing so, I don't know what the scientific term is when you put a liquid in a cup but it rolls up on the edges. I wasn't really good at cosmetology in high school, so I can't really remember what that term is. Anyways, you know, like there's going to be a little edge, and with the paint, when I put it in here, I did like I started with a 2, I reduced it to 20%, and then I put the other 1 to 1, but I started with the 2s. When I put the white paint at the 2, it like was up to this 2 over here, so I completely botched it. What I'm gonna do today is use 2 separate cups. I'm gonna put the reducer and the catalyst in the one that's clear so I can see it and make sure I get those ratios right, and then I'm gonna just pour the paint into or the base, whatever you want to call it, into another cup, and that way I can then just pour the reducer and the catalyst into it and stir and have I think a little bit better or more precise measurement for the converter. Well, not for the converter, but for the reducer. There were a bunch of pinholes like right there where I had an error, and I don't know if you can see that in the camera or not, but there's pinholes there. There were a bunch of pinholes like all down here. It was just disgusting. So I experimented, and I took this the Total Boat Total Fair this right here, I mixed up a little bit. I took some of the reducer from the ALEXSEAL, just like a little tiny, like just a little splash, and I splashed it onto the fairing compound once it was mixed up. And then I took a razor blade and I just scooped it on my finger with the glove, and I would like push it into these little holes. Then I would take the razor blade and put it flush, because the razor's pretty narrow and this is not flat by any means. And then I would just scrape it over these holes, and you can see where it did a decent job at filling in the holes. I still think they're going to show, but it's supposed to be a 10-footer. Ain't going to show from 10 feet away. There's just not going to be huge divots in here, and hopefully the primer will fill in. I guess at this point all I can do is hope, because that's all this boat thing is going on, is just hopes and dreams, hoping everything works out the way I plan. I'm going to quit talking. I'm going to clean it down. I got this stuff from Napa. It's an automotive finished products. It's a surface cleaner. It's expensive as shit, but this stuff works great. I've been using it sparingly on these little vinyl or PVC rags from Lowe's or whatever, and it's been getting this super clean. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna tack rag it, mix up some paint, take these dusty coveralls off probably, and we'll get to rolling. All right, it is now the next day. We put on the second coat of that 442 primer, I think, but majority of it looks really good. All these pinholes that were down here, they really just filled in nicely with that total fair shit that I put on there. I was gonna go and put, well, I was gonna sand this down lightly with some 320, because it's been past that 24-hour mark. That's how I applied it, and I was gonna put down my first coat of the actual white ALEXSEAL paint. I feel like I'm like rushing into it, and I just spent the last like 2.5 hours killing hornets, 1, and 2, sanding the rest of this back down in here. These pieces that I put in here, over here, and on that side, they just didn't line up. I've got to put some fairing down on here. I've got to touch up a few more spots that I didn't get flush, like right here there's a little lip, just some other spots, and then I'm going to use the polyester fairing that I have. Oh, this is one of them too. It's just not quite flush and then in there. So my plan was to use the polyester fairing that I have, because it's not structural, it cures pretty quick, and just filling in any of the little divots that are down here. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, since I'm not painting tonight, I could probably get away with putting down the total fair. That might go down a little better. I don't know, I'll figure it out. But just like areas right here where the glass didn't quite match up, right in there, if I paint over that, it's gonna look like shit up here. Up here I really care about, down there not so much. But at least on the baseboard, or not the base, but the bottom of this board here, getting that flush is that's the priority. Or I just put non-skid on it and call it a day. But I think I'm gonna put some fairing on here, and I don't think we'll call it a day, because like it's hot as shit out here, and I've been wearing that Tyvek suit, sanding this down, getting this floor clean. But yeah, sometimes you make progress, sometimes you don't. Alright, well, that's about all the damage I'm going to do tonight. It was went a little thicker over here. I think there was a divot where I hit it with the grinder more, or not the grinder, but the sander. And I put a channel in there. I'm just going to sand it so it's somewhat flush. It'll probably be better for water to channel, because that's where the scupper drain's going. But we'll just let it go. I'm tired of sneezing on here. I'm tired of being bent over. I'm tired of being sticky and sweaty. So I'm going to call it quits for the night. Hopefully come back here tomorrow, sand all this shit nice and pretty, and then we'll see what else has to be patched up on this thing. Dog, what are you doing? Fairing went down nicely, sanded it down the next day, came back and threw some of this primer on it, and then came back and sanded it down again with I want to say it was 80 grit. I went and filled in all the side holes here, put some polyester fairing compound on it just because I had it on hand and it's easier to use. It goes a lot quicker. Got that done. Threw a coat of primer on the console here just to experiment, see what it looks like. Hasn't been sanded yet. It's rained, it's gotten dirty. I've dropped shit on it. There's gonna be divots. Not gonna be perfect. I'm gonna go for the textured look on that. Just kidding, I'm gonna sand that down too, as well as this washboard. I've filled in as many holes as I can possibly fill in with stuff. Everything else, shit. I just realized I forgot those holes too. Well, got more holes to fill. Either that, I'm gonna put a cup holder back there. We'll see. I've been working on cutting out this front board here. That's what I'm working on today. It was kind of difficult getting this radius matched here, but I did the old trick where I cut the measurements out, then I had some scrap Kusa left and a 3/4 inch piece, and I just put it up flat on here, and I took a pencil and I just, I've got a video about how I did it, but took a pencil to match the curve, or match that radius there, and it came out all right. I'm gonna put an access hole. God dang bee, son of a... I'm allergic to those things, so yeah, my luck, I just put it in my hat and I was gonna bite my ass. Anyways, got the hole cut for that. Oh, he's still alive. What the frick? Today is not your day. You ain't paying rent for this boat. You ain't living on it. All right. Sorry for that rude interruption. Yeah, so we got the hole cut out. Vent that I have to get in the front access, like the bow eye or the cleat on the front. I want to be able to take that door out, and the way that it's set up, I have it so this is the top here, this is the bottom, so when the door opens, it's going to open out like this, so you can access stuff in it, instead of opening like this to where it's going to block any light to get in there to help you see what's in there. Because I want to be able to take this out if I do have to crawl in here, and I've picked this measurement here. I can just about fit in here and reach to the very front of the boat. So that is the plan. I've got a very, very little bit of resin left over. I'm going to hope that what I have is going to be enough to put a layer of this material on the front and the back side, and also tab it in. If I don't, then, well, it's just not going to get glassed in, and we'll just put a bunch of screws in it, since everyone, or that one dude on here, thinks that I have too many screws in my boat. I'm putting more screws in this thing just for you, bud. And you can make some more comments about how I'm doing it wrong also. I greatly appreciate the criticism. Even though when I upload these videos, I've already done the work. This isn't live, so I don't think some people understand that when they see a video on YouTube that it's not live, it's already happened and they've already gone with it. A lot of people like myself who admit that we don't know what we're doing, we're just trying it, learning from our mistakes. So yeah, I'm gonna put some more screws in here for you, bud. I'm just gonna put a screw like right here, and then I'm gonna put a screw right here, and I'm gonna put a screw right here and right here. I'm just gonna sneeze a whole bunch of screws over here, just because there's too many screws in my boat. It's not gonna float, it's gonna break in half the first time I take it out. First wave, rest assured, this boat is gonna break in half. And if this boat does not break in half on the first wave, I'm gonna be thoroughly disappointed, and I'm just gonna sink it. How about that? This boat better break in half. First wave it hits. I hope it breaks in half. I hope it does. Anyways, enough with that. I'm gonna lay some glass. Enjoy. Alright, well, I'm not sure how I managed to, daggone it, staying, jack that up, cut up, but it, this should be a nice air bubble. Put a screw in it. I guess when I either rolled it out or rolled it up, it got disformed. I mean, I know there's really not much material there, but I was running low on resin, and I did what I had the tools to do. So this is the backside. The good thing is no one's gonna see it. This is just for structure here, just so it's not like flopping and whatever. I mean, I probably don't even need to put any on the backside, but there's literally no structures, just to like hold that gate or the door closed and look. All for looks, cosmetics. And then the flange overlaps it about an inch or so. Yeah, so that's all the fiberglass that I'm gonna do for today, because I am now out of resin.